big project for exponentials is going to be, I'm going to call the mayor and the city council of Rio Rancho, and I'm going to book you time in one of their city council meetings. And a number of you are going to make a presentation to the mayor and the city council of your analysis of the historic Rio Rancho population growth since 1970 till today. And then you're going to be able to use these calculators to enter that data the way I'm going to show you now, today. And then be able to do all these things. Enter the data, create a scatter plot of that information, have the calculator calculate a best fit function for you, and then be able to graph that best fit line. What math gives you in that power is now with that information you can create a presentation to the mayor and the city council saying, based on our historical analysis of the population of Rio Rancho, I can now use my algebra functions, it's fitting an exponential pattern, and I can project into the future. So Mr. Mayor, you may think about, if the population of Rio Rancho continues to grow at the same pace it has for the last 40 years, in 30 years the population is going to be this. What's that going to do to the flushing of your toilets when we don't have enough water for that many people?
We will.
Remember, there are issues that we need to talk about and think about, and we're going to use mathematics to make that crystal ball presentation, crystal ball prediction of what the population would be based on historical data, and if the population continues to grow like that over the next 30, 40, 60, 100 years. We need to, people that are in charge and leaders of a community, they have to think about those things. They have to plan for those things that far in advance. And so you're going to use your technology, you're going to use your ability to use mathematics to impress the mayor and the city council in a total way as forward-thinking Ask Academy scholars. And so I'll book you time with that. So I want you to know that what you're learning today, how to use this technology, will be beneficial as you learn how to prepare your presentation for the mayor and the city council. I also say, does everybody own one of these? Does everybody possess one of these?
Of course not. Nope, those are like $100.
Does everybody possess, what is it?
Yeah.
Spreadsheet, Excel, which is all on the computers that we've given you, Excel spreadsheets. They will do the same thing that I'm going to show you how to use these things for. So understand, I also want you to know how to do that. Okay, we're not recording it, are we? So take good notes. Write them down well. Mr. Dobbins, you're writing it down. Write these notes down well so that in a month and a half, you can see those notes. You know where to go back and reference them. Okay, so what we're going to do, we have lots of vocabulary today. We're going to talk about correlations. No correlations, positive correlations, and negative correlations. We're going to talk about scatter plots. These are phrases you may not have seen before. Make sure it's new vocabulary and you understand what it is. Best fit line, what that is. Correlation coefficient, what that is. And so when you see the calculator tell you, you know how to recognize it and what it means. Okay? Correlations. Something that has no correlation. What I want you to be able to do is to look at a scatter plot. And that's kind of an example of a scatter plot. Now, it reminds me of this story, and I'll share this because I digress. Growing up in West Texas, everything's bigger. That's when I grew up in West Texas. And as a matter of fact, back in the 70s when I was going to high school, in my pickup with my gun rack, I had my shotgun, and I drove it to campus and parked, and it was no big deal. Nobody bothered it at all, no issue at all. Today, is that an issue? Yes. Times have changed, right? And in West Texas, we have lots of land, we have lots of area, and we have lots of guns. That's right. We're very well protected. And we grew up with that. So the reason I'm sharing that, because I digress, is because scatter plots reminds me of the times as an adolescent when we kind of sort of did things that we weren't supposed to. And that we never shared with our parents much. And so there were times as a teenage guy that my shotgun and my gun rack in my pickup, my friends late at night, we would shoot signs on the road. I'm not saying do that. So this is a film that's capturing saying I'm telling you not to do that. I'm just sharing something because I digress about things that I did as a youth, and it may not have been the wisest thing to do, but when my memory, when I see scatter plots, it looked like my scatter gun shotgun when I shot the side of the barn. Or I shot the yield sign at the intersection and nobody caught us. We ran quickly. Those were things, so that's what it looks like. It looks like a bunch of holes in a target. Scatter. Shot. This, I'm going to give you another example of a scatter plot. See that one? And then of another graph, a bunch of data, dots, that correlate in X and Y coordinates of a bunch of information that you may have in your master project. It could take that kind of pattern. Now the reason I've drawn these pictures underneath these words is because I want you to be able to look at a picture. Look on page 113. If you see a bunch of scatter shotgun dots of data on a grid that takes really no pattern at all, then we use the phrase, that data has no correlation to each other. So no correlation. Does that make sense? If you see a pattern that kind of goes like this, and this is what best fit line means, ladies and gentlemen. This is the next vocabulary word. So we've talked about correlation, kind of getting an idea of that. Scatter plots, what that means. And the best fit line, to visualize, if you will, that you draw a line, a linear graph, that kind of goes right down through the middle of that. Goes right down through the middle of it. One dot's not much further away than one on the other side. That's called a best fit line. We're going to learn how to use technology and have it do that for us. But that's what a best fit line is. A line that kind of goes down through the middle of all that. If you looked at that, could you tell me, is the slope positive or negative or 0? What's the slope of this line? Positive or negative? That's why we call it a positive correlation. Because the best fit line that we go down through it have a positive slope. Okay? See this pattern? If you do a best fit line down through it, would that line's slope be positive or negative? It's going downhill, right? So it's a negative slope. Therefore, we call it a negative correlation. Look on page 113. You see those examples. Do they give you, could you identify no correlation, positive correlation, negative correlation? Could you? Okay, next lesson. What I want to move to now as the camera follows me, is I want to show you how to now get your calculators on, get turned on. Always a dangerous thing to say in front of adolescents. So you get your calculator out and hit the on key. Okay? And what I want to do is to undo anything that was done in second period that you already done. So let's go second quit. Second quit, stay with me. On your calculator, you're using yours, right? D? Got your own? Second quit, go to Y equal. Hit the Y equal key, clear out anything that might be in there. And then we'll fix other things as we need to go along. In your books, I need you to turn to, let's see, we're going to practice with, let's turn to 115, page 115, example 3. We're going to use that data in page 115, example 3, to learn how to enter things into this list. Okay? So the way to do that, to find the list and edit, anybody not ready? Are you okay? Okay. I want you to go to the stat key. Now we find the stat key in the 3-8 position. You're writing this down in your notes so that you can see it later and follow it to do other things in the future and months down the road. So then we're going to choose the edit function, which is the first. Go ahead and hit enter or the number 1. And now you should see L1, L2, L3. Yes? Anybody not see L1, L2, or L3?
Hold the camera up and I could get the video recording of it. Like the calculator, just like that. And I could literally zoom in and get the screen. Alright, cool.
Okay. So anybody, let me ask again, anybody not see L1, L2, L3 when you hit the edit line? Okay. then what you want to do with this is we're going to build. Now you may see numbers in there, right? Does anybody have numbers written in L1? Okay. Here's how you clear that out. All right, so write down in your notes. Arrow up to L1 so that it's highlighted. You see it highlighted? Then hit the clear key. Clear key's in the 5-7 position. Doesn't appear anything happens, did it? When you get the clear. But if you arrow back down off of it, it'll wipe clean that entire column. Got it? Did it clean it out? Then clean out L2. Anybody not have L1 and L2 cleaned out at this particular moment? Silence means that you do. Cold is clear. So now you got the. Now we want to enter data in there. So what I want to do is we're going to use page 115, example 3, data. And what I want you to do is to type in the domain. We learned last week what domain is. What is domain? All the X's, right? You see X's in the table? On page 115, example 3. That's the domain. I want you to enter the domain into L1. You just arrow over there, you hit the number 0, hit enter. 1, 2, enter. 3, enter. 4, enter. 5, enter. Just enter. I think it goes to 7, right? Yes? 0, 7, right? Right? A couple seconds.
It goes as far as you want.
Go to 7. That's the data that we have. Okay? Now we want to enter in the L2. And what do you think we're going to put in there? What do we call the list of what? What do we call it?
Ranges.
The range, right? So we're going to type in the range into L2. Again, this board's going to be erased, so you're writing it down in your notes so that you can see it in a month and a half from now. Right, Jacob?
Yeah.
And entering the name now, that takes you a little bit more time. Now also, I want to urge you, as you're entering the domain and range into your list, you want to do it in the order that you see it. Because the X and Y's are coordinates of scatter plots that are going to be graphed on a grid. So don't miss the order, don't mess it up. Don't skip a number. You've got to write them all in, you write them in the order that you type the domain in. Okay? Right?